welcome to the Festival of Storytellers.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be on right now. It's been a couple of weeks of excitement, getting prepared, and I've done a lot of things in my life, but this has got to be close to the top.
Thank you, Reader's Magnet, and thank you, John, for putting this forth and taking the chance on us authors in presenting this out to the world.
I've enjoyed this immensely, Joanne.
Ellie, so have I. Thank you for who you are, and thank you, Reader's Magnet. You all are beautiful, and you've worked so very hard, and we are blessed.
We are.
I thank everybody that's involved with this process, because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers. We thank Reader's Magnet and everybody that's involved. I love Reader's Magnet. They say, we share your stories with the world. Do we have sound?
Good evening. My name is Sandra Birchfield, and I'm an author. When I was in second grade, I decided I wanted to be a teacher, and I was an educator for many years. And then I decided I would write a book, and we're going to talk about that today with another author. Her name is Eileen Maschger. and she has done a lot of wonderful works. And Readers Magnet is having this Festival of Readers so that we can find out more about what's out there as far as the literary world's concerned. We've gone through a pandemic, and we're still in the pandemic, and our children want to learn more and be with the family, but yet they have to go to school, they have to do other things, and we're going to get through this. And with the help of the books that we have published by these fine authors through Readers Magnet, we will get through it, and it will give the children something to look forward to with the many new books that are coming out. That's the purpose of this festival, is to share with the world the books that we have written and we have published, so that children will get a better understanding of things that are out there socially, economically, and personally. We've had many authors that have written new books, and Eileen is one of them. Eileen, welcome to Readers Magnet.
Hi,
Welcome
Sandy.
to the Festival of Authors. Could you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to write your first book?
Well, I'm just a mother. It all comes down to that.
That's great.
I'm a mom, and I was raising my kids. I was pregnant with my youngest, my daughter, and I was very sick as well at the time. And I felt all of my intention was on my kids. And so I essentially lost, sometimes as a mom, all of your focus is on everyone else. You forget to take care of yourself. And that's kind of what happened. I didn't appreciate my value or worth. I just didn't feel good about myself as a person. And for reasons that I still do not understand, a friend of mine told me to start writing, and I did. And that's where The Fourth Princess came from. All of my emotions and feelings just channeled into my writing, and it just helped me rediscover myself, helped me be imaginative, and I started to look forward to the times that I could sit and write, and it took over, and it helped me a lot. And it still helps me. That's where The Forgotten Prince came from. My next book that's being published. I was sick again, and it just helped me be able to take all of that negative energy that I had and just channel it into my writing and just feel like myself again and feel good. And at the same time, I'm putting together stories, fairy tale retellings is what they are, stories that my children can enjoy and stories that other teenagers or young adults can enjoy as well.
That is wonderful. That's a wonderful story. And I'm glad that you're all right. And looks like you've got a beautiful smile and you are energetic. So it sounds like you took the right road.
I try to be positive.
You have a good friend that helped you out in that situation.
She is amazing. Yes, she is.
No, that's good. And that's what we all want to do, Eileen, I think, is to understand children. I work with the young children all the time. We have 4 grandchildren, and they keep us real busy. We keep them sometimes while their parents have to go away for a trip on something, business or whatever. And children need to be filled with knowledge at an early age. And to see the caring that you put forth and the emotional aspect of love and caring that you did for your children, I'm sure that they're going to turn out to be fine individuals.
Thank you. And that's why I gravitate towards fairy tales, because that was their purpose, to help teach children how morals of the story, to keep them safe and out of danger. Don't go into the woods because there's wolves, things like that. Don't go nibbling on other people's houses, things like that just keep you in line. And this was a way to help teach my kids, because how sometimes kids and parents, you can be the parent and you can help them and talk to them and work with them. And after a while, it's like, oh, mom's talking again. And the brain just shuts off. So this was a neat way for me to teach them something and expound something from me, a little bit of my wisdom and years, and hide it in a nice little fairy tale for them. So, and that they appreciate and enjoy. So yeah, it works.
I'm sure they will really enjoy it. I'm sure that the public will enjoy it also once they get their hands on it and can read it. And
it is fun. They've got different perspectives. I don't really see fairy tales much like these out there. And everyone focuses on Cinderella and Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, and I like the other. There's a whole other book full of other fairy tales, and this retelling of my favorites.
And your imagination can take you into making up more fairy tales, maybe. That's already happening. Yes. I mean, I have one more idea in the works that I've started working on. I'm not very far in, but I want to do one more fairy tale retelling, and that way I have nice set of 3, a little collection, and then I can start working on other things that are going on in my head, and great ideas that are just inspiring and help me work through some of my emotions and stuff like that. What would you say the age range is for your books?
My books go as far as preteen, preteen to young adults and adults that are young at heart. So long as you're reading a book written for a younger audience and you approach it that way, you'll enjoy that story. Definitely. I call it literary junk food, because you just want to read it. It's like my bag of chips. There's more detailed, more involved works of art, epic novels out there, and those are your main course and all that stuff. And I'm the cute little bag of chips that you love to just reach, and if you want to be happy, just a quick, I want to be happy real quick, and here's my quick read and my quick bag of chips that will make you happy.
That's wonderful. It sounds like you've got a lot going on with everything.
I do, but you do what you got to do, right?
Right. You do. I enjoy also working with children and doing books. We did a curriculum guide for elementary counselors, and we used made up names for the children and made up the stories, but yet had the objectives and everything for the counselors. So all I had to do was just pull them out of the book. We had a song, we had a chant of the giants coming home from their play or work or whatever. And I think children like giants as well as they like other things. And so I hope that it'll be real popular also.
That sounds really great. Yeah, that children love anything that's unusual, different.
Well,
different is good.
Yeah, this one doesn't really have, it's not the same old, it's fresh, and it's a social issue. Like Pull Over the Hair likes to get people caught on the computer and talk about them and everything and not do good things. And Manners enters in and tells her the right way to do it. And Kick Him in the Shin wants to throw food in the cafeteria all the time. And Hit Him in the Side wants to cause bus problems. And then Fisticuffs, the fifth child, wants to join a wrestling team. After Manners talks to him before he wants to join a gang. So Manners kind of helps out all these people, all these students. And the children at the school, the guidance counselor gives a lesson and does the chant and everything with them, and they love it because it's musical. With children, and to learn, they need to they need to move. They don't need to sit in a seat all day. So it's kind of encouraging to move, and yours as well. I can tell by the way you've talked about them that they had those incentives in there to pull them out and to.
Oh, they're little balls of energy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That your character Manners reminds me of Josephine in The Fourth Princess, because she's in an effort to try to figure out what her special talent is. She's going out in her kingdom and other neighboring kingdoms and meeting new people and just being there to help them and see what they need and try to be that listening ear or that extra pair of hands to get a few things done. And yeah, it's amazing how important just having that one person available to be there for you, how much that matters in the world. I mean, with your character, he Manners was helping other people out in the school, and they became better for that. And whereas the fourth princess, Princess Josephine, she's just trying to learn more and figure out things about herself, and at the same time she's helping other people, and they appreciate that, which is why she earns the reputation of the fourth princess. So it's nice that theme of helping others and taking care of other people, and how that is rewarding in and of itself. I mean, that is a theme that's everlasting, and children need to hear that.
Definitely. And it's a social issue. Children need to feel wanted and need to be a part of a group and all those sorts of things in order to grow and understand feelings of others.
Absolutely.
So that they don't knock them off their feet. They just try to help them get along.
Yes.
And that's what Manners' goal is to do the best that he can do with what he has to work with, and to help his siblings. And I think it's real important that children see that helping others is very important, especially when a child may have hurt themselves or something, and that child is strong enough and mature enough to go get someone to help, to understand that the child is hurt and that they need to intervene.
And it's interesting how when you're helping other people, you're actually learning more about yourself. Definitely. And you're learning new things that you never thought you could do. And I love that. It's rewarding for everyone. So why not? Right?
Definitely. Right. And sometimes you get stories in your head about children that don't have much intervention with other children. They're loners and they may be bullied and those sorts of things. So one of the books that I have written that's going to come out soon is called Nobody, with a little N is Somebody, capital S. And Nobody doesn't really like to play ball or do any of those things. He doesn't like going to the gym. He doesn't like going outside. He likes to work with games and puzzles, things that tease his brain so that he can be smart. And he never runs away from a problem. He always stands and faces it. If other kids start messing around with him, he has a way of getting out of that without getting in trouble. And a thing happens that's very energetic to Nobody and to the coach. The coach kind of take Nobody under his wing, and they find out that the spelling bee is coming to the school. So Nobody gets to participate, and you'll find out what happens when you get the book. That was kind of becoming somebody. Nobody becomes somebody.
I do like that. I like that idea, because we are all somebody. I mean, just because we can't recognize our talents right away doesn't mean that we're worthless. There's something special in all of us, and we just need to figure out what that is. And it could be a multitude of things. It may not just be one specific thing. It could be a vast array of things. And that's what The Forgotten Prince, my soon to be published book, touches on. It touches on the prince who he just feels he's been outcasted, and he just feels alone, and he gravitates towards this positive energy of a family and this gypsy troupe that welcomes him in, and is trying to support him and help him out, and he starts to realize that just because bad things happened doesn't mean that that's the end of my story right there. I can grow, and I can still become someone. I still have value. I still have worth. So it is another really good theme. I like how you and we both have really good similar themes. But you write for younger children, and I write for the teenagers. It's great.
It is.
We do need to get this message out.
Yes, we do. How many books have you written altogether, Eileen?
I have 2. One is published and is available on Amazon.com right now.
What's the name of it?
That is The Fourth Princess.
Okay. And
my next book, the second book I've written, is The Forgotten Prince. It is being published right now as we speak. And I'm just signing off. We're tweaking a few things on chapter art right now. And so that will be available. We're trying really hard to have it available by Christmas time. If not, absolutely the latest would be the beginning of next year.
That's wonderful. Do you do your own illustrations or?
No, I do not think I'm an artist. My friends will say that I am, but I'm not. In the Fourth Princess, my artist is Allison Day-Zitnak. She is responsible for the beautiful artwork that is in the background of the book, and she's done all the chapter pictures as well. And she let me use the artwork as well for the Forgotten Prince, the flowers and roses in the back. It's red, it's beautiful. She's a beautiful abstract artist, and I love it. The vibe that she gives me with her artwork in the back. I mean, yeah, we still have to add like a castle or a medallion to convey the story, but just having that ethereal mystery, fun fantasy artwork in the back it makes the whole book for me. So yes, she's amazing.
That's great. It's good to find good people to do your artwork. Our daughter did the pictures for our first book, Who Are Those People Back There? And she's gotten so busy with the children and since COVID, because she has to work at home part-time, work at the school part-time, keep the children back and forth to school. Mm-hmm. And it's just hard. She just has a lot going on. So she didn't do the pictures she did the pictures in my second book, which was Goodness Gracious, Grumbling is Contagious. She did that, drew some of the opossums and stuff like that. And she really loves to draw, but she has to put.
It's all about time.
Yeah, and having a job to put food on the table and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, same thing happened with Allison. I mean, things especially with the pandemic, it's just one thing after another. And she, as much as she wanted to do the pictures for the chapter pictures for the Forgotten Prince as well, we were all geared up to go and ready to go with that, but life just takes over. And thankfully Reader's Magnet was able to step in and help match that vibe. And she was really we were all very appreciative. And hopefully by the next book, if I ever get it written and published, she says she wants to be a part of that too. So I am glad for that, because it doesn't feel the same without her.
I'm sure you're going to reach that goal of publishing that next book.
It all comes down to time, right?
It's too strongly on your mind for you not to do it.
Well, yes, I do want to do it. I do like to have
excited about it. And that excitement is what drives us to do it. Thinking about what effect it will have on myself and what effect it will have on my kids or my grandchildren or the children in the community or whatever. I want to socially change some things. And Who Are Those People Back There is, of course, about race and the changes that have taken place over the years. And I'm not naive enough to think that one book about race is going to make a difference in the world. But
it can help.
Yeah, but some small child may get that book and have it read to them.
That's right.
And feel a lot better about things.
If our message can reach one child and just make their life happier and they're better because of what we've shared with them, then that's all the reward we need, right?
Exactly. And I want to read you the last page of the story, Who Are Those People Back There? It says, finally, children do not have to ask, who are those people back there? Today, my little boy sat with a different friend, and they each had different hair and different skin. They rode the school bus near the front in row number 4 and have no fear because Color Town is no more. And here's the last picture that Julie did. I think it's.
Oh. Well, I just see the squares at the top, but it looks very pretty.
It's hard to get them in this camera too.
Oh, look at that. Very nice.
They're simple drawings and small drawings, everything, but the children like the story. When I go into the schools and go in the classroom, they like it. And I'm sure it's the same with your stories too, that kids love them and love to read them and love to hear tell about them.
Well, my book is in a few elementary schools. It's definitely in my kids' elementary school right now. It was this adorable little story. My middle child, the year he was in kindergarten, he entered the elementary school. He had his first trip to the library. His whole class got to go, right? And he knew, because his older brother had said so, he knew that my book was in there. He knew he was too small to read. He didn't know half of the words, but he knew it was there. So he went up to the librarian and said, "Hey, I know my mom's book is here. Can you show it to me?" And I love librarians for this reason in and of itself. She just was so patient. She took him over to the older kids section and showed him the book, and he hugged it like it was me. He just held it close and just hugged it. And then he takes it over to his class and says, "Guys, look, this is my mom's book." And they had a nice little chat about writing and authors and all that stuff. And it was just it was the most adorable story I ever heard. And she was so excited to tell me about it. And it made it still makes me happy thinking about it. So yeah.
That's great. That's a great story. I have my first 8 years of teaching, I was at a school called High Point Elementary. And it's just so odd that both my sons and daughter-in-law's children, Benjamin and Sophie, are going to that school. That's where they started because of where they're living.
Uh-huh.
That's the school they chose to go to because they wanted to be in the county schools and school system instead of the city.
Nice.
So, I was there for that long, and I read one of my stories when we kept the children a couple of weeks ago. And when we finished, I said, I told Benjamin that day he had been in a spelling bee. And I told him, I said, my book that is going to be published is about a little boy who was in the spelling bee. I said, and he won, and everybody was so happy for him. And Benjamin had missed one word, and so he had to sit down. He said, "I didn't win. I missed a word." I said, "It doesn't matter. You're still a winner." And I said, "This is a book that I wrote, and I hope that you like it." And he says, "Oh, it's all about a spelling bee. I like it. I like it." So, you can direct emotions that way too.
Mm-hmm. And I love that you use the spelling bee in your writing because you were thinking about him. And I love incorporating little bits of my family, my relationships, my life into the books, my writing, because it just makes it feel more close and more relatable with just with everyone. You're not just getting me, you're getting a piece of me. Just like he sees the book and he's like, "Oh, that's spelling bee. That's me. I get it." And he just understands it better. So I appreciate that stuff.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. There's a lot of things out there that need to be addressed. And if people would just think and listen and adhere to what's around their environment, then they would be a good book writer. They would be a wonderful author. And that's what I've tried to portray as I've done these sessions each time, is that you don't have to be a great writer. You just have to start writing to be a great writer.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I still don't think I'm a great writer, but I do the best. I had a story and I wanted to tell it. And that's why we have editors. That someone told me that. She said, "That's why we have editors, so that we can help you out and help you become better and become a better writer." And it's the practice that gets you better. And exactly. And we actually, I was told when I was a little kid, when I was very little, well, no, not very little, it just feels like forever ago. Back in high school, I did used to write and I enjoyed it very much, but I had a teacher that's a straight A student. That's me. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just giving you some perspective. But in my English class, I used to love English, except for my junior year of high school. I had this teacher that was just did not like me, or I think he didn't like me because he had a real passion for grammar. and I am not good at grammar. I think we moved around too many times when they were teaching that part, that all those essentials. And I just couldn't understand the grammar. And when he would try to explain it, it would all go over my head. And I think he thought I was being silly. And I'm like, no, I'm being serious. I don't know. So, of course, my parents, 2 teachers, they went to the school to do a parent-teacher conference with him. And they said, my mom said to him, she loves writing, and she's a very good student. I just don't understand why she's struggling. And he said flat out to her that I would never be a good writer. I would never be a writer. And stuff like that. The negative comments stick with you more than the positive ones.
Definitely.
And just having a teacher tell me that, I stopped writing. I let it influence me. And because of that, I just didn't know how to channel what I was feeling. I didn't know how to channel my stress and energy, and I just internalized it. And that's never a good thing to do, internalizing your stress.
No.
And yeah, I've got the scars to prove it, the literal scars, not the imaginative ones. And then I started writing again, and it's so, you can't let people stop you. If you have a story, just write it down. Even if you don't publish it, this is an important piece to you, and you need to just write it and get that. It's a relief for me. It takes that weight off my shoulders and puts it on the page instead. And who knows? You never know who's going to read your book, your story, and just go, I like this. You need to get this published. Or I really like this. Thank you for writing it. It meant a lot for me. And you can't let naysayers get in the way. Just, if it makes you happy, go for it.
Yeah. Well, Eileen, if it makes you feel any better, my guidance counselor told me I should not go to college.
Oh my gosh. And you're a doctor.
Yes, ma'am.
Crazy. Don't. We need better teachers.
Well, she just was a person to see the people she wanted to see to go where she thought they should be, I guess. She never really knew anything about me much and that sort of thing. But she asked me if I'd ever thought about not going to college and getting a job after graduation. And I didn't have bad grades. I had average grades. But I decided to do what she said. So I took a year and took typing and things like that. And then I had to go back and realize I thought I needed to go to college. And so I had to go back into Algebra 2 after I'd skipped a year from Algebra 1 to Algebra 2. And I had to take a second year of Latin. And then I had skipped a year of Latin and all that to make up for the time that I'd lost in order to qualify for college entrance.
Isn't it crazy how a snap judgment can really influence someone?
Right.
It's just not. And that's the main theme of the Fourth Princess, actually, that nothing is what it seems. I mean, I have a fool who's actually a doctor, and I have a king who's absolutely crazy. He's nuts. So you can't just judge. What we see is only a small part of who we are. And I think that's the problem. We're capable of so much, and you can't just walk in and just be like, I don't want to be with that person. You're missing out. You're probably missing out on some amazing stories and people who have really good insights to give you, and probably have great, it can help you in your life, become a better person. And we miss out on these gems just because of those snap judgments. And there's more to us. There's more to all of us than that. I mean, you wouldn't want to be judged that harshly. So why should we do it to other people?
That's exactly right. And we have to be optimistic about when we're dealing with children and other people. To not judge them right away is to find out how they feel about things and see what you have in common. And a lot of times the people that we meet may be different from us, but that's a good thing.
If we were all the same, it'd be boring. Right?
Very boring.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be very boring. Okay, another question here is, During the process of writing the book, did you consider using a different title for it? Did you ever consider the title?
No, because I don't title my work until the very end.
Okay, that's good.
So I'll write, and I just never thought of anything until I was halfway through. Yeah, I was about halfway through, if you can call my writing halfway through. I never write from start to finish. I write randomly all over the place. I'll write the end and then the middle scene, and I don't write the beginning until the very end because I don't really know how to start things ever. But I had about a bulk of my work done, and then it just kind of struck me. I was writing a scene. I don't even remember the scene. Yeah, I don't even remember the scene, but I was just writing, and it was like I wrote The Fourth Princess, and I went, oh, that's it. That's the title, Fourth Princess. And then from there, I knew exactly how to start it and how to finish it, and it was very, very inspiring for me. So I like that.
What would you like for your readers to take away from reading your book titles? Like when they see your title of your book, what would you like for your readers to see, and how would you like for them to react?
Well, for The Fourth Princess, I want my readers to feel confident in their own skin.
Good.
I want them to know that they are someone important, and that they do have value, and they shouldn't be letting anyone else tell them what they are or are not good at. And as I was saying, another thing is I want them to feel, I didn't say this yet, but I want them to feel empowered to reach for their goals. That everyone has goals, and what do you really want? And do you have the courage to do that? And I want them to feel motivated and a little bit empowered. I can't think of a better word. Empowered to just go for it and do it.
Exactly.
So, And for The Forgotten Prince, I want my readers to feel that just because we make mistakes and just because we have bad moments in our life doesn't mean that defines us. It is the whole picture that makes up who we are. And I had mentioned in my broadcast earlier that when you look at a work of art, it's not just bright colors. It's not all happy-go-lucky, amazing colors. I mean, even in cartoons, you have to have that nice dark line that distinguishes. There has to be some shadow, some shade that define the picture and makes it beautiful and makes it special. And that's what we are. We're all works of art. And if we were all just bright colors, we'd be very one-dimensional. We need to have that shadow, that shade. We need to embrace everything about us. And that's what makes us beautiful.
Very well put. Very well put. And we want to be sure that we get people that need to have these thoughts and values put together in discussion groups or things like that. And a lot of times in schools, we don't take time to have elementary guidance programs. We don't have time to take time from the high school students just to see how they're doing. Just talk to them, say, how are you today? Anything on your mind you'd like to talk about? It's always about testing or getting the school evaluated, accredited, and all those sorts of things.
Right.
We have children that need to know things about school and about things that they work with, people they deal with, and all those sorts of things.
Sometimes
we as teachers can do some of that.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in the scores and the numbers and the grades and all of that stuff, the data, that we forget to take care of the child, because that's what the school is all about. You're there to teach children, to get them to learn. And it can't just be about the numbers. You have to consider their educational well-being as well. Are you in a proper state of mind to be learning what we're trying to teach you? Things like that.
And the biggest thing too is to make sure they're comfortable in their skin when they're doing testing. Some of them get so nervous they don't sleep at night. They've heard teachers talk about the test. We've got to do this on the test. We have to do that on the test.
I worry about the amount of pressure that we put on our kids.
Yes, we put a lot on them.
Yeah, I mean, and when we're adults, we're under enough pressure. I mean, why can't, sometimes you just want them to be kids. Just enjoy this time. And I was going to say, oh, I lost it.
That's
no,
okay.
I remember. I sometimes when we're young, we're fearless. We do everything. Everything we do is amazing. And we just want everyone to watch because it's going to be great. I may fall on my face, but I'm going to do it fabulously. You know, things like that. That's the mentality of a toddler. And then I don't know what happens. We grow up and we start to allow every little pebble or word or phrase hold us back. You know, and sometimes it's just ourselves. Sometimes it's our own thoughts that just hold us back. And I think what we need to learn is how to just embrace ourselves, be comfortable in our own skin, know who we are, know what our skills are and our talents and stuff, and just go for it. And just be you. And the world needs you. All of us as individuals. The world needs us. Doesn't need an army of replicas. Needs uniqueness. It needs quality. It needs imagination. And that's what we all have to offer when we embrace ourselves and who we really are.
You're right about that. And so many children just don't know what I was involved when they're doing something, and they need to be more comfortable in looking around you, find out about children and what they're worried about and what they're concerned about. I had, as an elementary guidance counselor, I was the one that put children in their classrooms for the next year. And I was trying to see here what the children that I worked with were pre-K through fourth grade. And one of the things I always worried about, well, who is my teacher going to be next year? Whose room am I going to be in? Who are my friends going to be?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I worked out is like in February, after Christmas, holidays, and all those sorts of things, and our snow days were hopefully over with, we worked on our list. And the previous couple principals that had been at the school had just taken the folders and say, well, here's you one, here's you one, here's you one. And when you do that, you don't equally divide the children as to above average, average, below average, special needs. You know, you've got all these categories. And you can't just take a child and put them in somebody's room without knowing the child a little bit. And so we worked out a system that we had the teachers in February give me a list of all the children in the room and whether they were, list the boys, list the girls, tell me about a little bit about them. Most of them I already knew because when I started teaching there or working there as a counselor, I tried to memorize all the kindergarten children's names each year so that I had a pretty good.
That's a feat. That is a feat.
Would be surprised. How do you know that child's name? I said, well, I've been working on it for a while. But what I do is have the teachers put, like, if they were special needs, if they had another child that was bothering them all the time in the classroom, just those sorts of questions. I told the teacher to think about it. Then they would give me their list, and I made up the list for the school so that each child knew after summer was over, they knew what room they were in. They knew where they were going. They had their supply list, so they had all their notebooks, pencils, erasers, and those sorts of things they needed. They had an idea of who their friends were going to be in the classroom because who they had previous classes with and would call friends. And they felt real secure about that. The first day of school, they got off that bus with their little satchels or book bags on them and walked right into the school and turned the corner, went down the hallway, and went right to their room.
It's amazing how much that little bit of preparation gives them that confidence that they need to not be afraid and just go for it.
And then if we had a new child move in or a teacher to leave, I would invite them to come during the summer. We'd have an afternoon of meeting the new teacher or the new teacher meeting the class, both kind of together. And so social skills, I think, is one of the things that most of my things are built around, trying to get people involved. And we had small groups that children were in, like the quiet and shy, child being adopted, child of a divorced parent. And we just talked about it. And then on Friday, we had a parents group. The parents would come, and they were really had a lot of the same problems, and they would discuss them. And, well, how do you handle that? You know, we all talked. There'd be about 10 to 12 parents there. So again, social skills are important, I think, for them to be able to.
They are, and it's sad because I think society is going leaning more towards being independent. You can do this. You don't need any help from anyone. It's all your responsibility, which in a sense it is, but we also are awesome because we have the help of other people around us. And that's another thing that the Fourth Princess conveys. Yes, we're amazing. Yeah, we're great individuals. But if I'm really going to accomplish this goal, I need the help of others. Actually, that's both the Fourth Princess and the Forgotten Prince. Yeah. We need the help of others to give us that extra push, either if it's emotional support or they know how to do something a little bit better than we could to make it a little bit better. I mean, just our right. I mean, you expressed with your books as well. We don't just write. It's not just a one-person show for us. Someone's helping us with the illustrations. Someone's helping us edit. We wouldn't even be published without Reader's Magnet or other publishers out there. I mean, this is a group effort to help us achieve our goals. And yes, we need to be strong individuals, but we're stronger. We're even stronger when we have that support group. Something that I said a long time ago, and for some reason I still use it, is that when I was talking about me and my friends, my group of friends, I said, not one of us could do everything, but together we can do anything. And that's the truth. I mean, yeah, we're great, but we can't do everything. But together we can move mountains. And that's what I'm trying to get across in my books and in my writing, and what you're trying to achieve with your kids and stuff.
There you go. I think you just developed a new book that you can write.
Yeah, why not? Right.
It sounds like it'd be great.
Yes, actually, that's there is a question here that Fairgoer 991 says, do you have an upcoming fairy tale book? And yes, I'm just gonna flat out commit to it right now. After The Forgotten Prince is written, I am writing another fairy tale retelling. It's going to be a gender bend of the 12 dancing princesses. And it does talk about how we all come together. It's when we come together and put our faith in others as well as ourselves that we can work together and achieve our goals together. It does focus on that theme as well. So thank you, Fairgoer 991. That was nice of you to comment.
That's good. That's good. We'll have you lined out here with several books to do before you're through today.
Well, I do have a list. I do want to get one more fairy tale knocked out so that I can have a nice little collection.
That would be good.
That would be fun. And then my son, actually, I was online, and a friend of mine had this crazy dream. And she was just telling about these mystical creatures in her dreams, and it was obnoxious, and they were so annoying. And then she specifically said, Eileen, don't you ever write a story about these creatures. It's going to be terrible. And I went, that's actually not a bad idea. So surprisingly, that took off. And I have a lot of notes for an idea with that. And I have a romance, like a little Hallmark romance. I do like Greek mythology, so I have a little Hallmark-ish like story and bouncing around in the back of my head for that. So I do have other stories. It's whether or not I actually get to them. So I want to take care of my fairy tales first, get that out of my system,
Right.
then I can move on to other things.
Well, I had a friend that came to me and asked me about a book about hospitals, because she said she had a small child. She had a friend who has a granddaughter, and the granddaughter was real concerned about the grandmother going to the hospital because the hospital was something she didn't know anything about. So she asked if I would write a book about a hospital, and so that is the book that I have written, and it's supposed to be published any day now with Reader's Magnet.
That's awesome.
I hope that it is put in doctors' offices and given to hospitals to put in little bags that they give for children that are going into surgery or to.
That would be great, because I remember my son, he went into surgery. He was young. He was 4 or 5, and he had club foot, and he had reconstructive surgery going on, and it's terrifying going to the hospital in and of itself just for your appointment, but going for surgery and then waking up with casts on both of your feet and you can't move or run and do all the things that you used to. It's terrifying. So, I mean, I didn't publish it, but I ended up putting together just a cute little book for him so that he could read it before and prepare. And he loved it. I still have it hiding around somewhere in my bookshelf, but he loved it. And it's something special. It's amazing. I do appreciate how writing and stories really can help us get a better grasp of the world and prepare us for the scary things in life. And the
name of that book is Get Well Quick, Hospital for the Sick.
That's going to be adorable.
I did the cover of it with the ambulance in front. Kids like ambulances. I was curious about them, and then Reader's Magnet did the rest of the pictures. I like to draw, and I like to do pictures and art and use oil paints and all those sorts of things, but I don't have a whole lot of time to do that anymore. So I did the cover. I did the cover, but I didn't do the rest of it.
I hear you. Technically, I'm supposed to be working on an Afghan for my daughter, and I have exactly 12 squares made, and I have at least 60 to do. And I'm just like, well, I'll get to it when I get to it, right?
Bake a cake and make some coffee and invite the neighbors over.
Yes. Maybe I should do that. I'll solicit that help. Together we can do it, right?
Right, exactly.
Oh.
Well, we've got a few more minutes here. Let's see if there's any more questions. Let me look here and see what we can come up with.
Well, this is fun. I mean, I didn't know what to expect for the author in the hour, and this has turned out to be a fun conversation, Sandy.
It certainly has, and you're right. We have a lot of things in common.
We do. I like that. I like that I can talk to you about this stuff, and you're not looking at me like, really?
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that at all. We should do.
But I do have.
What makes your book stand out from your competitors, do you think?
Well, right off the bat,
You've done some of that, but this question wants to know a little bit more about it.
Right off the bat, it's because these aren't the usual fairy tales that everyone likes to tell. So already this is something different. And also, I try to get more, I write more psychological. I care more about what's going on in my characters' heads than what's actually going on in front of them. Because I think that's where the real struggle is. We can all appreciate, we all have that inner we all have that inner struggle that we have to work through. And we all respond to things differently. So I think when we understand what's going on in each other's heads, what the stories that are behind it that explain why we're doing the things we do, why we go left instead of right, and why we are outspoken instead of reserved. I think the more we get to understand one another, the easier it is to understand why we do what we do, and it's not quite so scary or weird to us. We just accept it and understand it better. And I think that's my writing is clean. You don't see a lot of young adult books out there that are sometimes they get a little risky. Mine don't. They're clean. There's stuff that you can read in school. I know someone told me that my books would be great for homeschool because it's something that you can read, something clean that you can read, enjoy, and still analyze and pick apart, and be helpful and inspiring at the same time. So I would love it if that happened, if my books became more focused in homeschools or in the school system, because they're meant to teach, they're meant to uplift, and they're meant to just make you feel good.
Have you talked to anyone in a homeschool situation that has a group like most homeschools? I'll get together on a Friday or something, and maybe after the children leave, maybe you could talk with some of the teachers and find out where they are about that.
And that is a great idea. I am not that ambitious yet. I have 1,000,001 other things going on, but it's a good thought, and it is a good thing to pursue because I think it can help my stories. Excuse me, my dog.
Don't worry about it. I've had my phone go off several times accidentally too. So we just put up with the little dog and the phone and just talk. That's all that's important. We have a couple, 3 minutes left. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the audience about yourself?
I just want to remind my audience. Well, first, I just want to thank everyone who has been watching this live and who's going to be watching this on YouTube or on the Reader's Magnet Facebook channel. Thank you so much for being here and supporting Sandy and I. And I'm available on Facebook. I have a authors board, authors group that is called Eileen's Writing Desk. And the Fourth Princess is available on Amazon.com right now. But on Eileen's Writing Desk, that's where I share little insights and teasers about what I'm going to write next, what I'm working on, and 100% that's where I'm going to post when the Forgotten Prince will be available to purchase. As soon as I know the dates, that group will know the dates. So if you want to join in the fun, I would love it. More the merrier for us. And since we passed the 100 member mark on our board, so I promised a random drawing where one of my members will get autographed copies of The Fourth Princess and The Forgotten Prince once they're available. So that's everything about me. That's where you can find me. You can find me on Facebook, and you can watch my broadcasts on YouTube. Just search my last name. It's a very unique name, so you won't find much of anything else. And I just really appreciate your support. I appreciate you all.
Eileen, thank you so much. We have about 55 seconds left, so we'll just go ahead and close this down. And thank you so much for your time. And
Sandy, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's fun. Yeah. And I think our writing is aligned, and we have a lot of things in common, so that's a good thing. But be sure that you check out Eileen's books. Maschger, M-A-S-K is the way it sounds, the first part of her name, and Maschger. And Eileen would be grateful for having people look at her books and take them into the school or to the home and share it with her children. She has one of her younger children is about 8, I think. And these books are perfect for your children and to make a good friend with your child. Read to them.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you, Eileen.
All right.